We have a special guest here for you today. She is the Washington Spirit goalkeeper and 2023 U.S. Women's National Team goalkeeper and a gem of a human, Aubrey Kingsbury. Aubrey, welcome to the show.
And we're off.
Aubrey, what up?
Hey.
How's your husband?
Good. He's coming over here in August. How's Jen?
Jen's good. So how is it, first of all, being in New Zealand? How are you feeling now that you're out there with the team? Like, how's training been? Obviously, it's been crazy watching a couple of the friendlies and what happened with the Ireland and Colombia game. So how's it been?
We've been here about a week now, so I'd say it's getting more and more real every day, and just more exciting. Like, I was up last night watching Australia play France, and I'm like, oh, wow, this is going to be a great summer. I can't wait. I'll probably watch every game I can. So yeah, just really excited. Training is intense. It's very detailed. There's so many situations that we're going over. You know, what if we're down a player? What if we're up a goal, 5 minutes left? Like, so many things that could happen in the course of, you know, an NWSL season or like your career, but like we are not leaving anything uncovered. So very detail oriented, a lot of meetings to then review the training sessions. So it's pretty much like go time. Like, there's no more like, oh, we'll get it right next time. It's like, no, now is the time. We got to get this right. We got to get it down. We had a training match against the Philippines yesterday. So that was kind of our final tune-up. And our first game is next Saturday here, Friday in the U.S.
Okay, let's backtrack a bit. Okay, so you are a Wake Forest Demon Deeks. Is that how you say it? Deacon?
Yeah, go Deeks.
Go Deeks. Ew, gross. Anyways, let's talk about your journey, because it's been the most incredible journey, and I've loved to follow it, and you're one of my biggest role models, even though we're peers or whatever. You had stints with Sky Blue. You had to go overseas because basically there's only 8 teams out of college, and it was really hard to break in as a goalkeeper, you know? Yeah, it's tough, and we've had a lot of conversations about how training is your day job, games are just a bonus, which is one of my favorite things you've ever told me. And you were under Ashlyn Harris for a little bit as second keeper at Orlando Pride, and she actually got injured, and that's when you could step into that role. Mm-hmm. And ever since then, and after you got traded to the Spirit, you've been a nonstop amazing starter, captain, leader for your squad, and now you're representing your country. And I think that's such an incredible story, and one where you know, a lot of players are going through hardships, and it's a journey for every single player to make it to the U.S. And so I just want to ask, how does it feel going through all of that and finally representing your country?
Thanks. First off, like, when you kind of talk about it from the beginning, in a sense, like, it does feel extremely gratifying because, like you're saying, it was a long struggle. Like, I'm no overnight success, and really no one is. I think sometimes we can paint this picture of just like, oh, she's on the scene, she's great. But like, behind the scenes, like, there's countless hours, days, years of effort being put in that, yeah, no one sees. They just want to think that, oh yeah, this is easy. Anyone can do it if they dedicate a weekend to it. Yeah, very gratifying. I always knew like I had the capacity and the skill set, the tools to play on the national team, but it's just, you have to show that day in, day out in our domestic league to get an opportunity. And then once you get that opportunity, every training with the national team is like a tryout. Like, it doesn't get any easier. So it's then bringing that every day in this environment. And you just never know. Like, of course you can give your best and play well. And you can have some influence over coaches. But at the end of the day, like, making the roster is out of your control. You know how it is as a player. Like, some coaches just have their preferences for whatever reason that may be, whether it's age, height as a goalkeeper. Like it could be completely out of your control. So I was hopeful that I would make the World Cup roster, but honestly, like until I was told like you're on the squad, I just wasn't sure. But it was a massive like relief and extremely gratifying. And it's surreal that I'm here, honestly.
As one of the debutantes, are you pulling any of the other newbies aside, first World Cup, being like, oh my God, Lord? Like, I feel like if I, do you have a little moment where you're like,
yeah,
the mascot's right over there?
No, that is funny you asked. When we had our send-off game in California, I was standing next to Sofia Huerta and Savannah DeMello. And it was, so Savannah DeMello worked her way into this camp.
So cool.
Or into the roster. Yeah, by just balling out in the NWSL. Totally deserved. Massive, success for the league, for her. And then Sofia Huerta, she was once with the Mexican national team, switched to the U.S., played in Australia with me to get reps basically as an outside back, as she was an attacker transitioning to defender. It's like, we're across the world. Like, where are we? So far from family for years, all to like pursue this dream. But anyways, we were standing next to each other in like the pregame huddle, and Soph is super sweet. She just put her like arm around me and Sab, and she's like, guys, like, look at this, like, look where we are. Like, this is so cool. And I was just really grateful for that, because a lot of times as a pro athlete, as a competitor, it's always like, you hit a mark, you reach your goal, and then it's immediately what's next. And you can kind of like get stuck in that like never ending cycle, right? Because there's always someone better than you. There's always a new goal to be achieved. But if you don't like smell the roses or just celebrate the successes along the way, it can get like really exhausting. So I'm definitely excited to be here. I'm going to smile every time, the national anthem's played before the game gets going, and be like, I made it. Let's soak this all in. But at the same time, like I'm here to do a job.
You have a twin and you're both goalkeepers. How did your parents handle the emotional masochism of being the parents of two goalkeepers?
Great question. And I always I feel like it's almost like Bledsoe, that's my maiden name, like mythology as to how it all began, right? Because a lot of people will ask us, and they're like, what's in the water at the Bledsoe house? But we're all very athletic. Like my parents are runners. My mom still runs marathons. And they expose us to everything, like, music, dance, hated dance, but did it. Softball, track, like basketball and soccer. So I think like basketball was more my true love, but I was just better at soccer. And I wouldn't really say it's cool to be a goalkeeper. Maybe in like modern day, it's getting better. But back in the day, like no one wants to be the goalkeeper, right? Like it's just, oh, you're tall, go take a turn. Or like, oh, you haven't played in a while, go take a turn. Like everyone just has to go, right?
Yes.
Like it's like time out, go pay your time. So I did. And I was like half decent at it because I was pretty athletic, had played basketball and other like hand-eye sports. And same for my sister. So, then we started having to take double time. They wouldn't rotate us out as quick because everyone wants to score, right? Like if you're saying that, you're lying. So of course, like I grew up watching Mia Hamm, like wanted to be number 9, wanted to score, but was stuck in the back being a goalkeeper where it's boring. You just pick daisies. No one passed back to you, that's a new concept. Yeah. Like you just are off in your own world. So anyway, then say like 13, 14, that's when people start to like specialize and you don't sub as much. You kind of like stick with your position. And I want to say I kind of realized like, all right, like my best chance is as a goalkeeper. But my sister like really wasn't as sold as I was. And my parents, I guess, could realize, you want to go to a good school. Like this is probably your best bet. So this is true story. I kid you not. My twin sister, Amber, was persuaded to be a full-time goalkeeper by one Dairy Queen blizzard. That's all it took. But I was like, I'll get you DQ after this game if you play goalkeeper.
Oh my
And he's like,
gosh.
I'm in.
Oh my gosh.
So that one, $3 blizzard ends up getting her a scholarship to Brown University.
Okay, that is the best like blizzard investment I've ever heard in my
Right? The returns are astronomical.
I mean, no one, I don't think there's a better investment story I've ever heard in my entire life.
Well, most parents nowadays, you got to do all these camps and everything. But no, back in the day, all you needed was ice cream for the Bledsoe kid.
You know how like, okay, on all the teams that I've played for, the goalkeepers were always like a little odd. And Aubrey, I'm telling you, you are single-handedly changing that narrative for me.
That's my life goal, the campaign I'm on.
People don't realize, okay, we run a lot as field players, but when I look over, I see you guys going up and down, like literally, you do 5,000 burpees a day. That's what that's what I think. And burpees are the single worst exercise that someone can do, in my opinion.
Yep.
I think that's crazy.
Yeah, that's true. Like when I've been injured, like sprints, cuts, suicides, nothing is the same as goalkeeper training. I literally have to do that to like go on the ground, pop back up, go on the ground, pop back up. Like to get that sort of like stimulus is like up and down, and the explosiveness you need. Like it's a different stimulus than running.
Like what's the craziest way you've ever saved a ball?
There's one that comes to mind against Lynn Williams, who's on the women's national team. It was probably like 2018. But so when I look back at my old clips, I'm like, wow, you are so out of position. Like I've made some really incredible like athletic saves, but it's basically because I'm making bad decisions. So this is one of those. It's a long ball. I way misread it. Lynn takes this touch around me and like I didn't even think about it. I just turn, sprint, like run back to my goal and throw my body like at the post. And somehow she like, it hits off me, you know, like she had the whole goal and she had just tried to place it on the ground and it like hits off me as I'm sliding like my face into the post and into the net and it stayed out. And I actually think it was on like Sports Center top 10.
Oh, so cool.
It was pretty incredible. Like watching it back, I'm like, wow, like, don't know how I pulled that off.
I mean, you bring up having Lynn, like you played against Lynn Williams, you played against your teammates. I imagine, like, what is it like to have competitors that you during the season are like, you know, not rooting against, but playing against now being on, like sitting alongside you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's incredible because I'm like big fans of everyone. Like you're great. You know, I do my homework on you, like know exactly what you bring, all your special qualities. But like we had our last game before getting together for the World Cup, the Washington Spirit, my club team, played the Portland Thorns, Sophia Smith's club team. And she went on a tear, scored a hat trick, and like, everything in me wanted to be like, just like, take her down, like do whatever it takes, you know, like play a more physical game. No, I'm not saying I would never tell anyone to like actually injure anybody, but you know, give them like a little bump, like rattle them, things like that. But like knowing that America would need her like in the next week. Like I couldn't bring myself to be like, come on, what are you doing? But like,
You're like, get her respectfully.
Yeah, exactly. But in a kind way. No, she like took on like 5 players and then scored on me. And I'm just
didn't
like,
see that.
Yeah. Then so the highlights are everywhere, you know. Kudos to her. She's a great player.
No,
but just wish it didn't happen to me. Oh, I do also want to add, like back in the days of Sam Kerr, who was like the Matildas legend. Back in the days of her playing in the NWSL, like she scored bicycle kicks on me. Like she scored every which way. So I just always get a good laugh when I make highlight reels as the keeper being scored on.
Actually, that's a great point.
Like there was just a Matilda's documentary. And I'm like, oh, I'm in it like all the time. Like so many cameos. It's just Sam Kerr raining goals on me.
Well,
that is good.
She's doing that to everyone.
Sam Kerr also beat me.
Yeah, exactly. She's pretty good. I'm excited to watch her this summer.
Okay, who would win at 1v1 basketball, me or you?
Oh, of course you asked that. I think it would be a close match. It's hard to say.
What a diplomatic answer.
Yeah.
This is how nice Aubrey is. Like, my answer would be obviously me. And this is how nice of a human you are.
I have the height on you, so I think like you would maybe struggle to get your shots off. But I do think that like you would go in, and I have to hold back a little bit because like my hands are very valuable, and I can't be in pain. So let's wait till our careers are over. I don't have too many extra like fingers to spare.
So the leadership on this team, and I think Vlatko did a good job of basically leading them into leadership, and the more experienced players kind of welcome these younger players under their wing. 14 new players to the World Cup. Can you talk to about having younger players this year? How's that been?
Yeah, I mean, it's my debut as well. Yeah. Definitely not on the younger end. I wish I were 18. We do have an exciting mix of young players, veterans. You know, Pino's here. She's a great leader. She picks out these little details that, you know, go over all of our heads. I'm like, wow, yeah, like this is her fourth. Like she brings that experience. So we have the whole spectrum. Like you don't necessarily want everyone to be like, yeah, been here, done that. But like, of course, you don't want everyone to be like, whoa, World Cup, what? So I think we've got that mix. Liz Thompson being 18 can run for days. Like that is the hallmark of this U.S. team. Like high press, like high energy, like don't stop. You see it so often. We wear down the opponents at the very end because you just simply can't keep up with the pace.
I mean, I saw Alex Morgan say that, like, you know, because I'm sure people are asking, and I'm asking because a three-peat is very much present, like top of mind for everyone who's watching back home. Is that being talked about at all in team meetings, or is that like, no, we can't think about that? That's like a pressure that is not going to help or hurt in any way.
Yeah, for sure. Like there is no other alternative than winning it all. Yeah. Like that would just be a massive disappointment. And that's not even something, that we've talked about this month. Like it's been the past years. Like we have been preparing for this World Cup for 4 years now. Like we talk in terms of cycles and stuff. So everything from the opponents that the Federation has had us play in the past years, just to like fine-tune specific things, to see different styles of play. They've scouted out this hotel, our training facility, for the past year and a half to try to make sure everything kind of looks like what we're used to and to remove distractions, make it kind of feel comfortable and at home. Like it's all to win this third title. Okay. And we know pressure, right? Like this team has been great since, as long as I was born. Like I remember watching the 99ers, you know, like it wasn't too long ago, the girls sued the Federation. They won equal pay. So like talk about pressure, like that's pressure. Like the eyes of the world has been on this team, like for better or worse, you know, not everyone has wanted to see us win. I would imagine that there's a lot of people who are hoping someone other than the US wins. So I think this team knows pressure. They relish in it, and it brings out the best of every individual here.
So badass.
Yeah, it's so badass.
Put that on a commercial. Let's go.
Yeah, baby. That was beautiful. Crack open a sports drink.
I was just about to be like, mic drop. Yeah.
Time to work out. Time to work out, ladies.
Thank you so much, Obs, for coming on. Obviously,
Yeah.
loved having you on. You're a huge role model, not just to me, but for a lot of kids, a lot of adults, and a lot of people out there. So we love you. We appreciate your time, and really good luck for the rest of the tournament.
Thanks, Paige.
Yeah, I second that. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. You're amazing. I'm so excited to root you and the rest of the team on. And you have a new fan for life.
No, thank you guys. It's been great to chat.